Jack reached into the glove compartment and pulled out his backup pack of cigarettes. His hands still felt slightly shaky. The evening at the mall had turned into chaos faster than anyone could react. One moment, the food court had been filled with ordinary noise, conversations, trays clattering, children laughing, and the next, people were screaming for help as an elderly man collapsed near the center tables. Jack had done everything he could. CPR, keeping the crowd back, trying to keep the man conscious while waiting for paramedics to arrive. But deep down, he already knew. The paramedics never said it directly. They didn't need to. Jack lit the cigarette and leaned silently against the hood of his car. It was nearly 10 at night now. A cold Michigan winter had settled heavily across the empty parking lot, while snow drifted steadily beneath the orange glow of distant streetlights. Most people hated snowstorms. Jack never did. There was something strangely comforting about snowfall at night. The silence, the softness, the way the world seemed quieter beneath it. Tonight, more than ever, he needed that silence. He closed his eyes as snowflakes settled gently against his face. Cold, soft, almost comforting. For a moment, it felt as though nature itself understood grief in ways people never could. As though the falling snow carried some quiet acknowledgement of pain. Jack slowly exhaled smoke into the night sky and stared upward toward the dark clouds drifting above him. Funny how quickly life disappeared. One moment, a person was arguing over coffee prices or checking their phone, and the next, they were gone. Like breath against cold air, a brief shape in the darkness before fading completely. The cigarette burned quietly between his fingers. The mall behind him had nearly emptied now. Only a few scattered employee vehicles remained beneath layers of fresh snow. Jack glanced toward the entrance doors. Locked, dark, silent. His shift was finally over, but something inside him still felt unsettled. Not fear exactly, just heaviness, like the night itself was pressing down around him. A sudden gust of wind swept across the parking lot. Snow spiraled briefly through the air. That was when Jack noticed someone standing near the far end of the parking lot, motionless, half hidden beneath the falling snow. Jack narrowed his eyes slightly. Probably another employee heading to their car. But something about the figure felt strange. The person wasn't moving, wasn't reacting to the cold, just standing there, watching. Jack took another slow drag from the cigarette. The figure remained perfectly still. A strange unease crawled slowly through his chest now. The parking lot suddenly felt far too quiet. No traffic, no voices. Even the wind had calmed again. Only the soft hiss of snowfall remained. Jack flicked the cigarette onto the pavement and straightened slightly. Malls closed, he called out casually. The figure did not respond. Snow continued drifting steadily between them. Jack squinted harder now, trying to make out details through the storm. A man, tall, wearing what looked like a dark winter coat. And somehow, despite the snow piling across the parked cars around him, none seemed to settle on the man's shoulders. Jack felt his stomach tighten slightly. Then the figure slowly raised one arm and pointed toward the mall entrance behind Jack. Jack turned instinctively toward the dark entrance doors behind him. The reflection of the parking lot lights shimmered faintly across the frozen glass. Nothing there. No movement inside. No security alarms. No late employees leaving through the lobby. Just darkness. When Jack looked back toward the far end of the parking lot, the figure was gone. His pulse quickened immediately. Snow-covered cars sat beneath the falling storm, while fresh snow drifted silently across the empty parking lot. No footsteps. No sound. Nothing. Jack swallowed slowly. Okay? He rubbed the back of his neck and forced out a nervous breath. You're exhausted? That had to be it. Stress. Adrenaline. The old man dying right in front of him. His brain was probably just trying to process everything. Jack opened the driver's side door and slid into the car. The warmth inside felt strangely artificial now compared to the stillness outside. He shut the door and sat quietly for a moment, staring through the windshield while snowflakes drifted beneath the parking lot lights. Esther space. Then, the radio crackled softly. Jack frowned. He hadn't turned the ignition yet. A burst of static filled the cabin. Then silence again. His fingers slowly tightened around the steering wheel. Another burst of static, louder this time. And beneath it, something else. A voice. Weak, distorted. Jack leaned slightly closer to the dashboard. The sound faded in and out beneath layers of interference. At first, he couldn't make out the words. Then slowly, through the static, he heard it clearly. Help me. Jack froze. The voice sounded old, fragile, and terrifyingly close. Static exploded loudly through speakers before cutting out completely. Silence filled the car again. Jack stared at the radio in disbelief. His heart pounded hard against his ribs. Nope. He shoved the keys into the ignition immediately. The engine sputtered once, then died. Jack blinked. Tried again. Nothing. Only a dry clicking sound echoed inside the vehicle. Snow continued falling outside in slow, endless silence. Jack grabbed his phone from the passenger seat. No signal. Of course. He leaned back heavily into the seat and laughed once under his breath. Not because anything felt funny, but because suddenly the entire night felt unreal. The dead radio, the figure, the voice, the empty parking lot. It all felt wrong somehow, like the world around him had quietly shifted while he wasn't paying attention. Then, 3 slow knocks tapped softly against the driver's side window. Jack stopped breathing. Someone was standing outside the car.